Good afternoon. Poor people are just lazy. A woman's place is in the home. Irish men are all drunks. Are these phrases offensive to you? They are to me. However, in the United States, the freedom of speech is guaranteed in the Constitution to give every citizen the right to speak their mind, to say what they want to say without fear of persecution. But while we have the right to express our opinions, that precious right should be exercised wisely. Personal opinions can be polarizing and create conflicts. Sometimes it is not even what is being said, but how one is saying it that causes the turmoil. So how are we to evaluate whether what we are saying and how we are saying it will be well received or cause derision? In 1943, American artist Norman Rockwell created a series of 4 oil paintings depicting 4 different American freedoms. One of these captivating paintings is entitled The Freedom of Speech, in which a man stands alone and appears to have direct attention of the audience surrounding him. A brochure tells us that this is a town meeting. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if it's controversial, but I do know that he's captivated his listeners. How might he have decided what to say and how to say it? It appears that he's telling the truth, that he's being fair, that he's building goodwill and better friendships, and that his topic is important and perhaps beneficial to all concerned. Does this sound familiar? This painting inspired me to explore whether the Rotary Club 4-way test would be a valuable tool to help provide discernment while exercising our freedom of speech. Sojourner Truth was a free black woman in the mid-1800s, just after the Civil War, when black people, especially black women, were thought to be inferior to white people. She's well known for her speech entitled Ain't I a Woman, in which she argues for women's rights. Was appropriately named Sojourner Truth speaking the truth? Yes, she was. Was she being fair to all? Of course, that was the whole point of her speech, to create an atmosphere of mutual respect among all people, regardless of race or gender. Did she build goodwill and better friendships? There were probably many there that still looked at her with scorn. However, she ultimately inspired decades of slowly improving relationships between men and women, both black and white. Was it beneficial to all concerned? Not only did this create more respect for black rights, but it also made a huge leap in the fight for women's rights. Now let's take a look at a more recent quote. It was a bit controversial in its time. In 1992, while on a presidential campaign tour with her husband, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton was quoted saying, "I guess I could have stayed home and baked cookies and had teas, but what I decided to do was fulfill my profession." Women throughout the United States were outraged by this quote. But why? Perhaps the 4-way test can provide an answer. While she appears to be telling the truth, the way in which she phrased her thought was derogatory and condescending to women who opted to stay home and raise their families. Had she said, "I made the choice that's best for me and my family at the time," this would have been more fair and would have provided them an opportunity to build goodwill. While she had the freedom to speak in any way she wished, it would have been far more beneficial to everyone involved if she'd been more prudent. This is one example of how phrasing can greatly affect whether a statement is polarizing or not. My last example is especially meaningful to me because it involves a teenage girl. And even though she's not an American citizen, she illustrates how very precious our freedom of speech is. Malala Yousafzai was a frightened 12-year-old girl in Pakistan when she wrote a blog for a documentary about what it was like to be a girl in a country ruled by the Taliban. She thought Pakistani girls should have the right to be educated, and bravely said so. 3 years later, while she was getting onto a bus, a gunman shot her 3 times as retribution for her opinions. She ultimately survived the attack. Undaunted, she continues to speak on behalf of the rights of Pakistani girls and women. She spoke the truth. She was being fair to all. She was trying to build goodwill, and her actions have been undeniably beneficial to the women of Pakistan. This Nobel Peace Prize winning teen had opinions that were well stated and strong. Had she lived in the United States, she would have been able to express her opinions without the fear of persecution. But because she lives in a different country, that doesn't protect the freedom of speech. She paid dearly for what she said. The Constitution of our United States grants us many rights and freedoms as U.S. citizens, and we should never take these for granted. In my opinion, the freedom of speech is one of our most important freedoms. As illustrated by the examples I discussed, we must be extremely thoughtful when we exercise this very important right. When I have something important to say, I will utilize Rotary Club's four-way test to determine whether I will influence people in a positive way or whether I will create discord. I will ask myself, is it the truth? Is it fair to all? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
And then our winner today, winning a plaque and $1,000 plus $100 from the semifinals, speaker number 3, Elisabeth Keeler.